Hello everybody, I'm just trying to get my laptop to work like usual, so just give me a few minutes. Um, just trying to share it on my Facebook page. Sometimes technology doesn't want to work or it's a little bit slow, so in this case I think it's just a little bit slow. Just want to get the link over there and see if anybody wants it, they can get it from there. And I'll post it. Okay. All right. So it's a little glary on that stamp set. I'll get that fixed a little bit there. So looks like I've got Linda and Darlene on. Nice to see you guys, or ladies. I always say guys for some reason. I guess that's just the Vermont thing in me. I don't know. But let us know where you are watching from. That's always nice to know. Maybe somebody right down the street from you is watching with you as well. Or maybe someone from, overseas, whatever. There's Alice. Alice lives up north from me. I know where she lives. All right, so I've been working my butt off this week, and I got my 2-day rush order from Stampin' Up! On time, which is awesome. It was here when I got home, so I've got a lot of work to do tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday to get my club and some, really trying to get my Thinking of You sympathy card class done, but probably not for shipment on Monday. So anyway, I've been getting all that together. I've been making cards, getting ready to send some last minute catalogs out, and also some bookmarks, as you can see right there. So let me know if it's blurry or not. I guess sometimes it's blurry on your side. I can't tell. And I really don't watch my comments, so I will try to look at the comments, but really I don't look at them because I want to pay attention to what I'm actually doing, so I don't mess up. I'm really nervous about the one sheet wonder because I've actually never done one live, and I don't have a lot of experience with them, but I thought it was really pretty, and I thought I would do something different. You guys know me, I always like to use designer series paper, but I thought the stamp set color and contour works really nice with this. It will take some time to stamp because it is 2-step stamping. So I do the outline first and then I fill in. But this is really tricky to line up. So I'll give you a little tip for you guys. It might be hard to see just because it's a photopolymer stamps set. So, but I don't know if you guys have seen. If you're a demonstrator and you already have this stamp set, you will already know. But if you're not, Stampin' Up! Has redesigned the case. So what I mean by that is, let me just go get another new stamp set. Hold on. They're hidden in my closet. All right, so I have the Pansy Patch, which scares me. Okay, this one scares me. I don't know, not because of the sentiments, because of all this. I just really need to learn how to use it. But so this is how the stamp sets come. Okay, and then this one has 2. But you can see what they did was, we have this paper insert, which is really, it's beneficial. But what they've done is they've actually printed the stamp sets and what they look like, the images, onto the paper. So what I do, and I'll only do this for a couple, is there's a flimsy side here, okay? This I'm gonna throw out because it's just so super flimsy. So what I've been doing with my sets as I use them, and now I've got to kind of line these up. I peel them off here, and then I attach them. Let's see, which way does this go? Oh, this one is right here. Okay, so I attach them, and they get stuck to the case itself, okay? So let me just do one more, and then we'll pretend. and then this one goes over here. So say I've got them all on here, and then what I do is I'll take this plastic piece and put it over top. That way they're protected, but you don't now have this little flimsy thing. I'm gonna just chuck that into the garbage. Let me just do that right now, put it in the recycle bin, and that's how they're stored. So I love their new invention. I don't know if it's an invention, but it's something new and it's exciting because now I'll know if I'm missing a stamp, which one I am missing. I know you can tell by the cover, but this actually makes it super simple as well. So really nice idea there. And so in front of you is the stamp set we'll be using, Color and Contour. Again, this comes as a bundle, again in the 2021-22 annual catalog. And I'm going to use just one die, and it's the smaller one here. But this one kind of reminds me of the Stitch So Sweetly dies, just because it's kind of fancy and it's got the rectangles there. But this die here will die cut the flowers. Now I die cut one and I had it on my card, but I really didn't like it. I wanted them to be all the same. So I'll save that for another card design, but I am using this one right here. I've already die cut, but this is a really nice bundle and it's new and it's fabulous. All right, so now just to go over a couple things in front of you. These are all the bookmarks I am working on for my customers. This is how they're going to turn out. I'm going to use the in color ribbon that I'm going to be using tonight. Just give them a nice little topper there. I've stamped these all last night and this morning in all the new in colors. And we're going to be using every single one of these in colors tonight. Fresh Freesia, Polished Pink, Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, and Pale Papaya. And how I stamped these was using the Positive Thoughts stamp set. Stampin' Up! Is using a lot of those butterflies, and especially in the Butterfly Brilliance. And in that set, there's not a butterfly that kind of worked. So I just went through my stamp sets and I saw this one, and this is working perfectly. Okay, so I just Stampin' Up! Gives us, or a Demonstrator gave us a template, and I printed these out on cardstock. And you know, my printer sometimes didn't really like the thickness of the cardstock, but this is a basic white. And I just kind of printed them all out and then just stamped all the same colors, kind of like my crafting when I'm doing journals or post-it notes, that type of thing. I do one step at a time and get them all stamped. Then I cut them, and because there's 5 on a paper, 8.5 by 11. And now I'm in the process. Oh, on the back side, I added my information here on an Avery label, so people will have my information, my customers. And then I'm going to top it off with the in color ribbon. So this one is the Evening Evergreen. It's the really dark green and the in color. So that's what I'm working on. I'm also working on my April card club. That's going to get shipped on Monday. And my Thinking of You sympathy class, which closed at 8 o'clock tonight. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me, but it's something I really love to do. All right, well, I'm just gonna move some stuff out and look at the cards here. So this is what I came up with, this One Sheet Wonder. This is kind of a simple one sheet wonder. I didn't want to get crazy with it, but I used every single piece of paper in the 8.5 by 11. I did not have my ribbon until tonight. This is the in color ribbon here. So I kind of scrambled when I got home, had some supper, and then I came up here and remembered I needed to add the ribbon there. So as you can see, it makes a really fabulous card set. All the products I'm using today are either in the current annual catalog or the mini catalog, or it's going to be product that is going to be offered in the 2021-22 annual catalog that will go live May 4th for customers. Now, if you're a demonstrator, you already have seen the catalog. So if you do not have a a catalog and you wish to have one and you're not working with a current Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you can shoot me an email and I will add you to my list. And also, I wanted to show you another card design that I've been working on. My team has seen it, and if you're on my Facebook page, you've actually seen probably it too. I use the same stamp set, color and contour, to create these 5 cards. Now, this design, I kind of cased it from Mary Fish, but I didn't have the dies that she had for this sentiment here. I loved how the color and contour dies, really nice layer really nice. As you can see, this is on basic white with the in color. It's actually my favorite, polished pink, other than the greens. I look, actually, every single in color is awesome. And then I've got another die cut, which is popped up. And then I've got the sentiment that's embossed with white, the white embossing powder. And I sprinkled it with the in color, they are called in color jewels. And this is all I have left, okay? So I didn't buy 2 of those, and I think we could have, but I only bought 1. And on the inside, I just kind of stamped it like that. So that's the polished pink, and this is the evening evergreen. And then in my bin over here, I've got the pale papaya. And then I have, got to remember these names, and this is fresh freesia. And then soft succulent. So as you can see, all of these colors, let me just fan it out like as a deck of cards, all look really nice together. And I used these colors or showcased them last week on my YouTube live. Just a really nice set of colors that we get to use for 2 years. And they do look and work really nicely with the current in colors as well. So that's another project I've been working on. So I hope you guys are well out there. And let's see. I think I'm gonna get started. I knew I would forget the most major important piece of this project, and that is an 8.5 by 11 piece of basic white. So let me grab one out of my file cabinet. I'm not sure how you guys store your paper, but I store mine in a file cabinet because it does, my room does get a lot of sun when it's sunny here, and it does fade. Even though it's not direct sunlight, it does fade in my room. So I've learned from just being in this room for a couple of years, and I don't want to store it in the open. So, all right. We're going to be working with quite a few things, and what I want to do is get these ink pads over here. Now I re-inked every single one except for the polished pink. I cannot find my refill. I don't know where it is. It's not in my case, and that's a little disturbing. So hopefully this will be a good color for you guys. All right, so let's see. This is kind of the example I just drew, like really quick. So this is my template. So this is 8.5 by 11, just pretend. And then I'm going to cut these down by 4 and 5 1/4, or 5 1/2, or no, yeah. This is going to be 4 by 5 1/4, 3 of them. And then I'm going to cut this one a little bit differently, and then this strip here and this strip here are going to be pieces for the inside of the cards. I did not show you the inside of the cards, so let me do that really quick. I just stamped it with the flower in that little speckled stamp set, and it looks kind of the theme on all of the cards here. I really love this one because it's so happy. I guess it's a happy color, but all of these are really, really nice. So you don't necessarily need designer series paper if you can find a stamp set that will do its job. So what you'll need in this with this class or card and stamp set, you're gonna need to use a piercing mat, okay? So I have one ready to go here. And then you're also going to need some scrap paper just to protect your your piercing mat. So I just got some copier paper here. Now, this is not as big as the piercing mat is not as big as my paper, so we're gonna have to rotate the paper a little bit. And I'm really gonna try to stay on camera for you guys. I am not looking at the comments, so I'm gonna try to kind of look at them. Now, with these colors here, okay, these are the colors. I want to start the flower with the boldest color, so we're gonna start with polished pink. You're also gonna need your Stampin' Scrub, because we need to remember to change or clean our stamp in between colors. Now, I told you this was a little trick, and I really you can't see this. Let me just, you might. So there is a petal here that I've been using. It's this one right here. So I always try to focus on this one when I stamp this detailed stamp. And then when I do the next stamp, which is this one, the filling in stamp for the flower, there's a little image on there too that does match up there. So this stamp set is meant to over stamp the detailed one. So you can, you know, if you don't stamp it 100% correct, it doesn't really matter. So this is the one we're going to match it up with right there. I think that's the one, hopefully. But right now we're going to focus on stamping all the detailed images first. All right, so I'm going to stamp 7. Okay, I think that's what I did on the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to randomly stamp. So this is, let me just show you. This is the petal I am focusing on when I stamp the next one here, okay? So 7 is what I went with. So I'm just gonna randomly stamp all the way around, and hopefully I don't get, you know, a pattern going, but just random. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's go one down here. Okay, so we have that one together. Now it's best to stamp the color, the filling in color here next, because then you have the ink pad ready to, you know, it's just here and ready to go. So now I'm gonna find that double petal, and it's, let's see, this is gonna be hard because I'm on camera and I can't get my head where I want it to be, but we're gonna give it a try. Okay, so you can see it's not 100%, but you know, that's what it's meant to be. It's like a watercolored stamp. So once you know where that double petal is, you can just stamp it. And I would be 100% faster if I didn't have a camera right at my forehead. So just bear with me here. All right, so there we go. Okay, this is like my favorite color on this design. And hopefully that I will sell this to you. I know some of you probably already have it, but if you don't, this one should be on your at least your shopping list. All right, so now we're done with that color for right now. I might want to add one a little bit later. We'll see. I did on the example. So I'm just gonna clean my stamp off, both of them. Now I'm using blocks that are like probably way too big for the stamps, but it's only because all my stamps, my blocks are being used for other classes that I have kind of going at the moment. All right, so plus I have an in-person class on Wednesday of this coming week, and those blocks are already taken. But anyway, we're going with Fresh Freesia next. It's a light purple. It kind of reminds me of the Purple Posy and Highland Heather in between. now we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to add 7, okay? So again, we're going to randomly stamp these. 1, 2, 3, and you notice how I'm just turning my paper around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I don't know, let's go. I always have such a hard time. 7. Okay. Then let's take this stamp set here. This could get kind of boring for you guys, and if it gets a little boring, we've got a few more colors. Oh boy. This, okay, see, this is what happened. I re-inked this Fresh Freesia, and now it's like super dark, and I don't like that. So it's way too dark. Oh boy. Well, you'll get, oh boy, that's really dark. Let me just do a stamp over here and see what it looks like. That's probably better. I should, you know what I'm going to do? So I'm going to show you a trick. I know some of you guys learned this, and Pam, I got your card today, and thank you so much for your comments. So if you have too much ink on your ink pad, what I do is I take a tissue and I blot it. Okay, can you see that ink that's coming off? So we're going to take some of that ink off so it's not so dark. So that might be enough. Let me just throw that away. And now I'm going to just stamp on this scrap paper just to see. I think that's going to be better. Okay, let's give it a try. We'll stamp right over here. So now I'm going to try to find that double stamp right there. It is. Okay. Okay, that's still a little dark. Well, we're just going to wing it. So you just, that's what you do. So if you add too much ink refill, then just take a paper towel or tissue. I find a tissue kind of works, and I have those right underneath my desk here. But we're just going to get a different look. Okay, so there we go. All right, so there we have it. So far, so good, right? Except for it's a little bit dark, but it'll be okay. It might when it dries get a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna clean that stamp again. The next color I'm gonna throw in here is the pale papaya. Okay, it's kind of a light peach. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a So Saffron and Peekaboo Peach. We used to have that color. So now I'm going to just try to find the white areas that are really large. So we're going to fill them in. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're probably going to have to fill in some of these once I get this. We might have to definitely add a little bit more. But this is how I start, and then I just kind of go from there. I always use the odd numbers, and I have to throw in, you know, an even number just to fill in, then that's okay. Because we're going to be cutting this down. Now you can see this one, I refilled this one too, so this is a totally different look. Look at this. So totally different look than what I made with this one. So we'll see the difference once we get these all done. So this is a really fun project you can do. You know, it would be a nice little project to do with some friends together. And you guys can all kind of see what you come up with. Now you don't need to use this stamp set, but I really like it. And it works really nicely. So this one, ooh, I think it goes that way. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. It's down at the end. All right, so now we've got this. I think I want to add a few more, like maybe one or two of the flowers, and I'm going to take my kind of my favorite one, which is the pinkish one there, and I'm going to just add maybe two more to in the paper. All right, so we're just going to clean these stamps one more time. Okay. And let me get the polished pink out. This one kind of reminds me of, we used to have a color, it was called Rose Red, I believe. So that kind of reminds me of it. And also it's a combination of Melon Mambo and maybe some Poppy Parade a little bit. Okay, so I'm adding the pink. So I'm gonna add one, let's see, I wanna find that stamp so I know how to stamp that second one. I'm gonna add them probably around the edges here, just because we wanna just get some of those edges covered. We're gonna still add the leaves, but let's just add some around the edges, just because you don't want your paper to be too white. Now, down here, it's got too much white here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna still cut this panel up and we can try to figure that out as we build the cards. So now let me just quickly add the ink to these here. Let me just rotate this one. I think this one goes this way, right like that. And this one goes that. I hope you guys can't hear my husband snoring. It's after 8 o'clock and he's sleeping and he's in the room right next door. He'd probably not like it that I'm talking about him, but it's okay. Joke's on him. All right, we're almost done this step. Again, I'm just following that leaf right there. That pattern right there really helps me out. And it's the only one I think that's together like that. Okay, so we have that basic pattern there. Now we need to fill in with the leaves. So the leaves I stamped in Evening Evergreen. It's the darker green of the two. And I'm gonna use a stamp that has the little leaf on it and this little whatever it is. So I'm just gonna simply add these throughout the white paper, and it's all random, okay? So just make sure that you're not all stamping it in the same direction. You give it some character, add some, you know, off to the edge. That's all fine to do that. Just keep rotating your paper around. Let's throw one over here. We're just kind of filling in that white space. Let's go one right there. Just randomly stamp. Just a nice filling in stamp. And I like the speckles because we're going to finish off with the speckles afterwards. Let's see. Some obvious areas I missed. Maybe right, let me turn it this way. And let me just, I gotta take a look from a distance here. Oh, let's go this way. Here, and then here. Okay, so that one's done. Now we're gonna close the Evening Evergreen, and we're going to go with Soft Succulent next. Now this is for me, I think this is like almost a mint macaron color with a hint of gray in it, I think. So now we're going to take the splatter stamp and we're going to go full strength, and then we're going to go second generation. You can even go third generation. So what I'm going to do, full strength, and now I'm just going to go like this, this, and this. Okay. Now can you see first generation, second generation, and third generation? So what this is doing is just kind of filling in the white spots. It's just toning it down just a little bit. And you can even stamp over those flowers. It looks just fine if you do. This is what's fun about a one-sheet wonder. You never know what you're gonna get until you do it. So again, I'm just randomly stamping throughout until I get it the way I want. Now I'm gonna take this piece here and I'm gonna just eyeball it all the way through, just going, my eyes traveling around to see if I've got any areas that I wanna just get some more ink on, which I do. So I'm gonna add some right in there and there, and then I'm gonna throw a little bit of darker ink there. So I think that looks pretty good. Let me get one more up there. Okay, so I think that looks really, it's good. It's good enough, Karen, right? Okay, so now we're gonna cut this piece. This is what's the most nervous thing about this card, this class or whatever you want to call it, is I don't want to screw up, okay? Because if we screw up, then I'm in trouble. All right, so I'm gonna take my Stampin' Trimmer. Okay, this is like an easy cut. I know I can do this, but it's a mental thing. All right, so I know I want some panels that are 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm gonna cut those. This first one here, 4 inches across. So now it's 4 by 11, okay? And then I'm going to take the panel and I'm gonna cut it again, 4 by 11, all right? And then this strip is extra, and I'm going to cut this 1/2 inch strip 4 inches and 4 inches, and we're going to save that. We're going to use it. I just cleaned my trimmer so it's wicked slippery and I can't pick these up. Okay, so these are strips here, and we're going to use every single piece in this paper. All right, so now this one here, the 4 by 11, is going to get cut 4 by 5 1/4. Oh no, excuse me, 4 by 5 1/2. And then I think, oh shoot, I just screwed that one up. Yep, Karen, I knew I was gonna do it. It should have been 5 1/4. All right, well, there's a little strip. I don't know what I can do with it, but 4 by 5 1/4, and then 4 by 5 1/4. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Okay, so those two are there. And then this one is gonna be 4 by 5 1/4. So now I've got 3 that are all the same. Now this one is gonna be cut, it's already by 4, so I want it 3 by 4. That's in my normal, like, designer series paper size. Okay, and then this one should be 2 1/4 by 4. All right, so now we're going to put these cards together. So let me hang up my Stampin' Trimmer on the wall. That's where I keep mine. And we're gonna just, I've got my card kits already cut and everything's ready to go. So we're gonna start with the pink one first, polished pink. Let me get that one in front of you. And it looks like this here. We're gonna do some simple stamping here. All right, on the inside, it looks like this. Here's that 1/2 inch strip that I kind of screwed up on one of them, but we'll figure it out, okay? And I've got my polished pink, which is your A2 size card. It's 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. I'm just gonna take my bone folder and crease it. And then the next step is to add one of these panels onto the polished pink here. So what I did before, like yesterday when I was creating this, I kind of put these out just like this. And then I looked at the one that would kind of best go with the polished pink. So since I have, you know, kind of 2.5 of those full, I think I'm just going to go with this one here. It's about the same as that one. Okay, and then we're going to put these two aside. And now this piece here is going to get adhered onto the polished pink. You just kind of have to rotate it to see which direction you like it in. Okay, just like either way, doesn't really matter. Both ways look pretty good. I'm going to use some Tombow glue tonight. And hopefully I don't run out. But if I do, I've got a brand new bottle because I got 3 with my order today. All right, so now this panel has been cut down by 4 by 5.25. All right, I'm gonna let that adhere on there. In the meantime, we're gonna stamp here. So very happy for you in the polished pink color. Okay, so my sentiment is on a huge block. And it should be on a smaller one, but that's all I have right now. I've got some scrap white here, basic white. Again, we need our standard Pierce mat. We grab that. And I'm just gonna ink it up here and just stamp on the scrap. Okay, simple, simple. Now I'm gonna take the rectangular postage stamp. This is carrying over in the catalog. Again, I said in the very beginning, if you weren't with me, in the beginning, I'm using product that's carrying over or that's new in the annual catalog. That's coming out on May 4th. So that's all you need to do with that one. Since I've got the ink out right here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stamp that nice little flower one more time. And we're gonna just stamp it right down in the corner there. And then we will fill it in with that stamp there. And the two here. Okay. Now what I wanna do is I wanna take that soft succulent splatter and we're going to ink that up. And I'm just going to splatter it all the way around. Okay, so it kind of is the theme of the front of the card as well. All right, so let's close that stamp pad and this one too. Don't want to contaminate my new ink pads. Okay, so now let's bring this one in. We can add this panel onto the inside. I should have put that strip of design, well, let's call it Karen's Designer Series paper on. So let's take this one here and I'm gonna simply add it on really quickly. And I'm gonna have that pink flower at the top. And I like to add mine kind of inside from the edge, about 1/8 of an inch. All right, so you can see how pretty that is. And now we're going to be working with the front of the card. So now basically what you want to do is you want to find an area that doesn't have a lot of stamping that you can kind of put your sentiment on. Okay, I like these pink flowers, so I'm going to make sure those are being seen. Now we're going to take this fabulous sheer ribbon. This is new ribbon and it's the in colors. It comes in all 5 in colors. You can kind of see through it. It's really beautiful. It's easy to work with. So now I'm going to try to tie a bow with you guys. And I kind of wrap mine around on the inside here. I love to have the ribbon come through to the inside of the card. You guys know that. So we're just going to bring it around there. And I'm right-handed, so I always like to tie my bows with a bolt, or start it with a bolt on the right side and then bring it over. All right, so let's see if I can get this on the first try. You can always tie a knot bow if you struggle with bows. Those look nice as well. But practice kind of makes perfect. If you just keep at it, you'll get it. All right, so I'm going to slide this one over just a little bit. Okay, so I have my ribbon scissors, so we're just going to use them to snip this off. And then I'm going to snip this side over here just to give it a little bit of a haircut there. Now we're going to take this stamp here, the sentiment, we're going to need to pop it up with some Stampin' Dimensionals just to give it some lift. Now, I have those right here. And I go through so many of these Stampin' Dimensionals. I have just received 3 more packages today. I go through probably a package in a week. It's absolutely crazy. All right, so you have to have at least 2 or 3 extra packages in your craft room at all times. All right, so now it's simply just going to add this sentiment to wherever I want to place it and pop it on there. All right, so that probably took us about half an hour to do this card, but once you kind of get your designer series paper all stamped, then you can just kind of put the cards together. So you can kind of see the colors on this card are much brighter because I re-inked the ink pads, whereas this one is a little bit, you can definitely tell with the pale papaya, this one's a lot lighter than this one here, but still looks fabulous. And that's card number 1. Number 2, let's use the thank you for everything. This is really, really pretty. See how pretty that ribbon looks on this card here? And then on the inside, it looks like this. Okay, so let's grab my next kit here. We're making 5 cards tonight, you guys. 5. I usually just do 4 or make 4. And again, these envelopes, I would actually stamp the same way as I stamp the inside, just to make sure everything coordinates good. All right, so we've got our card base here. And let me find my ink pad. Where is it? Oh, it's underneath the Evening Evergreen. Okay, Fresh Freesia is that color again. So I'm going to just take my bone folder. This was already cut 8.5 by 5.5, pre-scored at 4 1/4. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the remaining 2 pieces to see which one looks better with the Fresh Freesia. And I like this one because it's got more purple. So we're going to go with that. This one is really super simple as well. Again, this panel we cut down 4 by 5 1/4. And then we'll just adhere it down. Now you can kind of turn it around to see which direction you want it. There's not very many leaves on this one. So this is kind of, you just never know what you're going to get when you create your own one sheet wonder. Okay, so that's easy. The next thing we're going to want to do is we can wrap that ribbon around. Why not? Since we've got this one right here. And I'm just going to decide ahead of time kind of where I want that heart. And I think I'm going to place it on the same side here. So we're going to add the ribbon bow over on this side. So when I do that, I like to turn my card upside down. And it works better for me that way. So again, I'm going to just make sure that is kind of flat. And then I'm going to wrap this around here. And then make sure there's enough, but not too much. We don't want to waste. All right, so then I'm just going to, oh, that's too much. Okay, try again. And we'll just hold that with my finger there and tie it hopefully on the first try. There we go. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, just shorten it up a little bit, and let's take our ribbon scissors and trim this off. Okay. All right, so again, the bow's going to be on the right side, or we can slide it over too once we figure it out. So let's do our stamping next. I've got my 4 by 5¼ white, basic white inside panel. And I have a scrap here of basic white as well. And let me bring in the piercing mat because we are working with photopolymer stamps. We need to have that little cushion. So we also need to clean our stamps because we were just using polished paint and we're switching the color. So we don't want to make sure Karen does not contaminate her ink pads that she just barely received not too long ago. All right, so I got one more after this and we'll be good to go. But if, you know, there is a way you can always fix you. If you do contaminate your ink pads, there is a way to get that fixed. I've had that happen in my in-person classes where people just are new to stamping. They make a mistake. All you really need to do is, if you contaminate this, take some paper towel in that area where you contaminated it and just really squish it and then re-ink it, and it should be okay. All right, so now I'm going to ink up in the fresh freesia, and we're going to just stamp over in that lower corner there. And then we're going to stamp the filler over, and now I'm looking at this one again. For you guys that are just coming on, this is the petal I'm lining up. It's the easiest one for me to do. I'm going to rotate this just because it's easier for me to see when I'm on camera. Because literally my phone is my camera, and it's like literally 2 inches from my face. Okay, when I'm stamping. Let's take that soft succulent and the splatter stamp, and we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. Okay, just that splatter, because now this matches our designer series paper that we created. So see how that all looks really nice together. Now we're going to take this scrap and we're going to ink up "Thank You for Everything," kind of in a fancy font. Okay. And now let's close up these ink pads again. We're going to use the another stamp or punch that is coming into or carrying over is one of my newer ones, the Heart Punch Pack. So the Heart Punch Pack has the scallops here, heart, and the kind of the non-scallop heart. So I'm going to take the non-scallop heart and we're going to punch out our sentiment. This one fits perfectly in this punch here, so we'll just punch that out. Save that. You can use a sentiment on that. I also have a scrap of the fresh freesia, and we're going to take the scallop heart punch, and we'll just punch out one of these hearts here. And of course I'll save this because you can definitely use that. Okay, so I think I've got everything here. Let's put this aside, and we're going to add, I'm just going to put down my scrap paper here. Nice. Actually, let's use our silicone craft sheet. All right, so I'm going to add this strip of the designer series paper to that inside panel. So let's just use our multi-purpose liquid glue and to add this on here, and let me turn it this way because I want that purple fresh freesia on the top. And you can see that I added it to the inside there with about 1/8 of an inch. And since we've got this one in my hands, we're just going to add the multi-purpose liquid glue to the back side, and now we're just going to add this right to the inside of our card here. And see how this ribbon looks really nice on the inside. Now if you had a little note you wanted to put on here, Pam, I have your card downstairs and I forgot to bring it upstairs to showcase how Pam sent me a little note, and she had it all wrapped up really nicely and stuck on the ribbon. And it was like a puzzle I had to open. She had a really nice note. She's one of my members of my card club, and she sends all the bags back to me to reuse. So that's really very nice, kind gesture, and she always sends me a cute card. All right, see how that little double duet punch works really nicely? And you guys know I love to use punches, so that is very beneficial for me. Now, I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're going to add 3. So we want one up here, and one there, like a happy face, right? And let's just press the backings of those dimensionals and peel those darn adhesive backings off. Now we're going to add the sentiment. But first, we want to make sure that that ribbon is straight across. And I'm just going to add it right there, right over the center. Okay, see how nice that is. Now, if your ribbon is too loose, like mine is a little loose, all you really need to do is take your piercing tool and some, let's see, and of course, there it is. Take your pick tool and the glue dots here, and let's find one. Just add it to the tip of that tool. We're just gonna slide that right underneath that knot, press down, and then pull your tool out, and now this is stuck and it's not gonna move. So if you want yours not free flowing, you want it just stuck there, that's how you do that. Okay, so that is card number 2. Isn't that beautiful? Like, that is so, so pretty. Now, you could add those in colored jewels. And I do have some of the fresh freesia, so let me just show you what that would look like on this card. These all really nicely coordinate. There's some kind of different sizes too. So I'm just gonna add 3 of them, 2 large and 1 medium or tiny one. And I'm just gonna add them in the areas that kind of might need something. So right there is good. Okay, so see how that little sparkles? Okay, so always looks really nice. These come in all the in colors. You could actually sprinkle different colors on there too, and it would look really nice. You could sprinkle one of every color and call it good as well. Okay, that's card number 2. And you can see the difference. How I re-inked the ink pads is really, really dark, and this was really light, and it's kind of a mix of both. Okay, so that is number 2. Number 3 is going to be this one here. It's using the soft succulent. I was going to say that, but I was not confident in myself and knowing the colors because they're so new. But there we go, another easy card to put together. Let me just grab my kit over here. Okay, so we've got a bunch of things here. So here is our soft succulent card base. Let's score that with our bone folder, or it's already scored, let's burnish it. And then we'll simply add on that panel here, just like that. Now this one only has the speckles as the major color in the card base, okay? So that's why you don't see a flower in the design, is because we didn't use it for the flower. We used it for that kind of like a background image to fill in the whites. Okay, I have somebody knocking at my craft room door, and it's my cat. She always loves to pay a visit with me on Friday night Facebook Live. I mean YouTube Live. Let me she comes. She might meow a little bit, but she loves people. Okay. She just meowed, so hopefully you heard that. She's so cute. She's such a nice cat. She's showing off for you guys. Okay, so now let's add this really pretty soft succulent ribbon. I hope I've sold you on all the in colors because I know they only last for 2 years. Sometimes they do come back and be a regular standard color because that has happened. But last year I did not order the ink pads for the ink colors. I wanted to just see if I could do it without. And I'm so happy that I decided to purchase all the ink pads for this year. And I made such a wise decision doing that because every one of them is just so pretty. All right, so that's kind of a good bow, kind of not. We'll just call it good, that's fine. All right, so we're gonna snip that down. All right, looking pretty good. So now this one here, we're going to, oh, this one I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to make a green flower because I'm using the speckles. So I just chose the purple there, and it didn't, or purple, it's a fresh freesia. It didn't really matter. So I'm going to, let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to go with, I really like the polished pink, so let's do that again, okay? And we also need the sentiment, thank you for everything, inked up as well. So let's go with polished pink. Okay, so I can't remember if I cleaned off my stamps, and I don't think I did, so yeah, it's got the fresh freesia on there. So let's just quickly clean those off. I know you guys want me to make a mistake, right? And then I can show you how to clean up your ink pads if I contaminate them. Well, maybe on another video. All right, so there we go. And let's find that double stamp petal or whatever. Okay, that looks good. Now let's take, oops, the speckles and the soft succulent. And if you only saw my desk, it's gonna take me all night to clean up my desk. No, not really, but I'm gonna cut cardstock for Card Club later after tonight, or after my live here. I'm gonna put a good movie on and cut and score paper. All right, I think we are almost done there. Let's find our thank you. Yeah, I used this one twice, only because it didn't have 5 sentiments in the stamp set. So we used thank you for everything. This will be maybe my customer thank you card, one of them. So I've got that stamped on a piece of scrap. Hopefully I stamped it up high enough. If not, I'll have to try it again. So another punch that's carrying over is the Label Me Lovely. And this one makes really nice background images too. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm just going to simply punch that sentiment out with the basic white. And now we're going to take this piece of soft succulent cardstock and we're going to punch out just one out of cardstock. And now we're going to take some scissors. Let's find my snips. And we are going to cut this one in half. It doesn't matter if it's a straight line or not. And let me take my silicone craft sheet here, just because I don't want to get this all inky. So now we can, actually, I'm going to take my seal I'm going to add some adhesive on this side and this side. So the top and bottom of where that sentiment is. Now I'm going to take this that we just cut in half, and we're just going to layer it on so it's kind of got this shadow effect. Can you see that? And then we're going to do the same thing. I'm lining up the edges here and about the same distance all the way around. We'll press it from the back side, and there you have a nice little shadow effect using the Label Me Lovely punch. All right, we need some dimensionals on the back side of this here. And in this case, I would use 4. We don't want to put any in the middle there because that's where your ribbon's going to go, but it does seem like it's overkill. Maybe you could get away with 2, but I'm just going to add 4 on there and call it good. Let's peel these off. And then we're just going to add the sentiment to wherever we want to add it. So you can still move this ribbon around. So if you don't like the ribbon on that side, you want to move it around so the sentiment goes over here, you can do that. And then we could just put this over here. So it doesn't really matter where it goes. It's kind of what you like. So I'm just going to add this right over here towards the edge. Okay. And then you can add a glue dot underneath there, which I'm going to do because that one's a little loose and I don't want to actually untie that and have to tie that again. So let's just slide a glue dot in there, and now it's 100% secured. And now we need to just add our inside panel. So for this one here, I normally would have used a strip here, but I totally cut these and I need them for another card. So hopefully that other card's gonna work. But if not, we'll just, we'll add them on this one. So let's just take our seal there and add this one here to the inside. And it's pretty enough without that strip of Designer Series paper over here. I think it looks really nice. So that is this one. And see how different they are. Okay, you could sprinkle those in colored jewels on as well to make it a little bit sparkly. All right, we have 2 more cards to go, you guys, and then we'll be all done. So let's do You're Absolutely Amazing, because you have stuck around with me for I don't know how long, probably almost an hour. Yes, an hour long. Okay, but we're doing good. We're having fun, and it's all about crafting and getting together and friendship. So here we go. Let's work with this one. We're going to be doing some tone on tone here. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I wanted to jazz up this little paper here. And we're going to do it on this one, and we're also going to do it on stamp on the Evening Evergreen one as well. So this is where we took that 4x5 1/4 inch panel and cut it 3x4 for one, and that's the one we're going to use for here. So this is going to be the 3x4, and then we'll save this one for the next card. All right, so let's grab my Pale Papaya kit, and let's get everything out of the envelope. And I've already die cut that shape there, so I wouldn't have to bring in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So I think what we'll do, let's see. Let's burnish this here. So again, we'll take the bone folder, that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Give it a good burnish so it's really nice and creased. This is the 3x4, and it's going to be layered onto the Evening Evergreen panel, which is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So super simple, just like that. If you wanted just a thin border, then you could do 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. And looking for my glue, and there's just a little bit left. Hopefully I can get every single drop from it. I know there's some still left in there. I don't like to waste. Now, all right, this is gonna get layered right on the Evening Evergreen panel. Okay, now this one here, we're gonna do a little bit differently here. We're going to add some dimensionals right now to the back side. We need to add 5, 1 in each corner, and then 1 off-centered. Now, let's save this one for a second because I want to get this stamping done. So we need 3 pieces here to stamp. Grab that silicone craft sheet. Now, let's turn it this way. We're going to go tone on tone, so we need the pale papaya. And we need the detailed stamp. So I did not stamp the filling in stamp on that because I just wanted details showing. So let me quickly clean that stamp. And now we're just going to stamp randomly. This one's going to pop a lot more because, like I said, it's been re-inked. So even though I know I'm going to be covering up this, I just like to go kind of random really fast and get the edges as well. You can rotate the paper if it's easier for you. Okay, so now let's take this and just kind of put it on here just to see if there's any areas that you want to add more ink to. So for me, I want to add a little bit right up here just because it just needs something, I think. So we're just going to take our stamp there and just add some of those little leaves and call it good. So now let's ink up our inside panel here with that detailed stamp in the corner, and then fill it in. Again, I'm looking at those 2 petals that are together. And the splatter is the last we add on. So 1, 2, and 3. Close this up. We're going to stamp the sentiment using Evening Evergreen. And the reason why I chose that is because I wanted it to pop, the sentiment to pop off of this pale papaya. Now, this was already die cut. And this is the dies that come with the bundle. Okay, they are called Scalloped Contours dies. They are new, and they, again, remind me of the Stitch So Sweetly dies, at least these do. And these are just the shapes here to cut out the flowers, and that little swirly thing you can use on your card fronts or panels as well. So I've already die cut that. We're going to find that sentiment. You are absolutely amazing. Got it on a really big block. Again, all my blocks are on other stamp sets right now, the ones that I mostly use. And it got really quiet because I'm focusing. Okay. There we go. Phew. All right. So that is stamped on the pale papaya. And we're going to close that ink pad. Now it's assembly time. Okay, so this, our inside panel, will get layered on. And then just that 1/4 inch border all the way around, or thereabouts. Okay, so now this is where we're going to turn. We need to kind of like first figure out which direction you want this to go. Okay, I think I want it to go this way. Then I'm going to release the backings. Thought my cat was getting paper. She loves to chew up paper like a dog. She'll tear the newspaper up. into little pieces, and she just makes a huge mess when she does that. But we like to, we don't mind. She's so funny when she does it. Okay, so let's take that pale papaya sheer ribbon, and we're going to add it to the back side here. And then I'm using the silicone craft sheet, but I'm going to actually take this panel and add it right to the card so it stays put, and it'll be easier to add the ribbon on. So let me just add this, center it on the front there. Now we can still slide this ribbon through. Okay, see that? And let's make another cute little bow with this pale papaya sheer ribbon in color for 2021, 2023. So 2 years we'll get to work with these colors, and they're all absolutely fabulous. All right. So let's grab our scissors, trim this down. It's upside down, but that doesn't matter. Okay, let's slide that into position. Now we can still move this, okay? So if we want to move it over there, you can. Just figure out where you're going to put the sentiment. I kind of struggled with this one because I didn't really know where I wanted to put it in the example. So what I did was I actually put it over top of that ribbon, and I hung it off the side here. So I think I'm going to do the same thing. So to do that, you're going to want to Stampin' Dimensional on the edge there, because this one is already lifted up, and I'm going to use a mini, or just I've got a small piece here, okay, from the edge piece. So I like these and putting them in areas that kind of don't need a rounded dimensional, but more of a piece. So then we're going to take our glue here, liquid glue, and add it to that side of the paper. Make sure your ribbon is where you want it, and then we're going to add it right over that ribbon. I'm going to move it in a little bit because I want it not all the way to the edge there. Give that a good press so it's snug there, and then just hold this in place for just a few seconds so that glue kind of adheres to the ribbon, and that card is complete. So let's put them side by side and see how different they are. Everybody's clapping, right? Yay! Okay, so that is that one. That's card number 4. And we have one more to go. And this is going to be the tricky one because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one. But I think I've got an idea. It's going to be very simple. So see how beautiful this ribbon is here? So this would make really nice Christmas card ribbon. Just thought of that. It's a deep green. I can't wait to see what they're going to bring us for Christmas. I bet they're going to do something really nice with this. I wonder if there's going to be some designer series paper that's Christmas that has this evening evergreen in it. That's an idea. All right. So, evening evergreen, one of my favorite greens. All right, got some panels in here. Oh yeah, we're gonna heat emboss this card. I just thought of that. Oh boy. Okay, we're gonna have some noise with this card. All right, so here's our last piece, other than the strips. And I've got a couple pieces here in case I mess up. And this is the size of the soft succulent 2.5 by 4.5. So let's work with a couple of panels that are pretty easy to work with. We're going to work with a card base, 5.5 by 8.5. Pre-scored at 4.25, burnishing it down that line there, score line. Now let's take this piece here. It's just, oh, look what Karen did. Karen did not cut. You know what? I got a feeling I didn't cut that right. So this is what I want. Let's see. 4. Oh, yeah, that was supposed to be 2.25. So this is going to get me my strip that I've been wanting. So Are you with me? Let's just trim this off. Just like that. That's what I want. All right. You can still maybe figure it out. So now this should fit. Yes, it does. So 2 1/4 by 4. All right. So we're going to add some glue. Add this right to that panel. 2 1/2 by 4 1/2. Okay, so looks pretty good. We can do the same thing here. Let's add our Stampin' Dimensionals already. Prep it just like we did the other card. We're going to add 4. 1 in each corner and 1 off-centered. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now let's stamp. We're going to take that Stampin' Pierce mat and some scrap paper underneath. And we're going to use the darkest green from the In Colors called Evening Evergreen. And let's see. Get my Stampin' Scrub. Do you guys have a Stampin' Scrub? These are absolutely great. Now I know, Denise, you attend my in-person classes. You know we use these. I have 4 of them for my classes, so 1 on each stamping table. And I always tell them, spray them with the wet side on the left and the drawing side is on the right. Okay, I think I cleaned off all the stamps I need to, hopefully. All right, so now we're going to take that detailed stamp, just like we did on the card previously. This one, we just definitely have a lot more filling in to do because we have a panel that is actually smaller than the one we did before. So we're just going to randomly stamp. Make sure you get the edges. Okay, and now you can add the panel. It's not adhered yet because we still have the backings on the dimensionals. Just figure out what you're going to want to do. And if you want to randomly stamp any more, which I do, I want to fill in this little side there. And I want to fill over there too. And maybe right here. Just a little bit. So that's all full. And then I want my panel to go this way. We're going to add the evergreen ribbon, evening evergreen ribbon, onto this panel here. All right, so let's take the backings off the dimensional. We should have a dimensional backing party, like confetti. That would be fun. All right, I'm just going to let this go on there, stay on there for right now. And I got to find my ribbon. It's my last ribbon I haven't used, and it is nowhere in sight. Let's see. It's going to be right in front of me, you guys. Like, I cannot even imagine. There it is. My dimensionals were on top of it. All right, so here is that gorgeous ribbon here. Again, I think this is you should get this because, especially around Christmas time, because I think it's going to look really nice on Christmas cards. All right, so I'm going to put this on the back side. And now I'm going to have to go this way because that's the way it's going to go. Okay, this is going to get centered on here. Okay, now we're going to take this ribbon and we're going to create another bow. Again, we'll slide it into position once we get the bow tied. And it's going to be probably a little bit smaller bow just because we're working with a smaller panel. And take my ribbon scissors and trim it off. All right, so now let's get this into place. Probably going to be right there. Okay, so now let's stamp. We've got to work with our panel here. Let's get that one done. just because we need to heat emboss, and I want to kind of get this stamped here. So this one I used a different color. Again, I used that polished pink, but it doesn't really matter. All of these colors work really nicely together. So I'm going to take the Fresh Freesia and I'm going to stamp one of those flowers there on the inside panel. And again, I would stamp your envelopes too in the same manner I'm going to show you on this. And if you've been with me since the beginning, this is the 5th time. Bless you for staying with me all tonight. But it's been super, super fun. All right, so let's ink up in the Fresh Freesia and then fill in. I'm going to look for those 2 stamps there, or 2 pack. I'll keep saying stamps with the petals that are together. Here we go. Okay, and then the splatter is in that soft succulent. So we'll just add it on there. Again, your envelope would be done the same way. If you really wanted to make some shine on the card, you can always add Wink of Stella too. That would be really, really nice too. Okay, so that one's all set. Let's get this one adhered to the inside of the card, because then we just need to heat emboss. Okay, so let's get that ink or the glue and add this here. Equal borders, top, bottom, left, and right. Now, this is the piece of the Evening Evergreen. I cannot remember how. It's 3/4 of an inch, and it is about 2 5/8 inches long. Now, I'm going to use my embossing buddy. Now, I didn't check to see if they're actually bringing the embossing buddy back, but if you're a demonstrator and you know, then let me know. All right, so I'm going to take the embossing buddy, and it's just basically cornstarch on the inside there, but it's removing static and fingerprints. Now, you need the Versamark ink, and this is a clear sticky ink. The sentiment I'm using is "Have here for you now." So I'm just stamping or inking up the stamp with just the normal way I would, and then I'm going to hover over the strip, and I'm going to center it the best I can, hold it down for just a little bit just to get that ink to adhere into the cardstock. We're going to pull it off, and now you can't really see. Maybe you can, probably not, because it's pretty dark. The sentiment's on there. I can see it, but it's just clear, sticky ink. Since I'm working with powder, I'm definitely going to close all of my ink pads just in case I drop it by accident. Okay, I'm going to take my white embossing powder. This is carrying over, which is great. Gold and silver is as well. I keep these in these little dividing containers I bought at the Dollar Tree, my local one. And I have this little spoon in there too, which I bought from Dollar Tree. And I got a lot of, there's a lot of powder on my fingers. It's because I got glue on there. I got some remnants here. I'm just going to blow on it. Now, I wouldn't do that in a normal class during COVID, of course. But since I'm in my own house, I can do that. So now my breath just kind of like got rid of the extra powder. Now you could use a brush, a paintbrush, a small little brush to take it off as well. What you also want to do before you heat emboss is cover this back up. All right, then I'm going to find my tweezers, which I don't have my new one. Oh, yes, I do. Lee gave me these, and I like them so much. I like to use them. And when you're embossing with really small pieces like this, you want to use tweezers because it's going to get hot. So I'm going to make some noise, but what's going to happen is this powder is going to melt onto the cardstock and it's going to get a little bit brighter white. So let me bring in my Stampin' Up! Heat tool. I hope it reaches from where I am. Hold on just a second. Lots of cords here. Yep, it does. It's got a pretty long cord on it, probably like 5 feet or so. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on, let it get hot. It's got a 1 and 2 setting, so I'm going all the way over where it's the hottest setting. And now it's kind of just heating up. It's not really hot enough right now to melt, but once it is, that powder is going to start turning a brighter white. And I'll try, okay, so now it's doing it. It's kind of magic. This is the first technique I learned as a stamper at a party, actually, like 10 years ago. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Let me turn that off. Okay, so now if you touch this right now, it's going to smudge because this is still pretty hot, okay? So let's just wait a little bit. Yeah, it's good now. It just takes a little bit to cool down. So this is all nice and good. Now remember those pieces of scrap? I've got a few left, so we're going to go back in. Let's see, let me grab it. It's over there. Okay, so we've got these pieces left. One, because I didn't cut the paper right, and that was my greatest fear was going to happen, but it could be a nice little mistake here. So I don't know if you can see this or not. I added that little small piece of designer series paper, Karen's designer series paper, to the back side of the sentiment. Because one, I didn't really know what to do with it, but I thought it kind of worked really nicely. So it's just a kind of a little subtle edge to edge. It's over by 1/4 of an inch on both sides. So to add this on, all you really need to do is run some glue just like that. And let me bring in my silicone craft sheet just because it'll be easier. And then I'm just going to adhere this piece right over. Okay, so now they're together, just like that. We'll flip it over. We're going to add 3 dimensionals. So let's add one in the middle, and then one over to the left side, and then to the right side. Okay, now we still have, I said we'd use every little piece. So this one I'm going to use for the, let's get rid of this one here. Let's add this to the inside. And then we have those little 2 strips to work with. Where are we going to put them on that front of that card? So just add this here. Inside from the edge about 1/8 of an inch. Now, this is going to go here. Actually, let's think about it, because I've got these little pieces. What am I going to do with them? What would you guys do with them? Maybe we go this way. I really hate to cover up that pink flower. I really want to use these 2 pieces. Normally it would have gone on that other insert, or the insert of the card, but anybody commenting? Where did these pieces go? We're going to use them. Let's see. That doesn't look good. Maybe I can't use them. That looks hilarious. All right, come on, folks. Where do they go? Who's got the best idea? It's a team effort tonight. Who's going to be the first one to comment? My laptop's like 10, 15 seconds like lagging, so I have no idea. Maybe there's like 5 comments coming. I don't really know. Oh boy. You know what? You can't even really see that. Let's take that Stampin' Pierce mat out of there. Nobody's commenting yet. Well, let's see if there's any comments from before. I'm looking through comments. Oh, I love those little purple hearts. That's really cute. Oh, inside of card on the back with your name. Oh, Christine, that's smart. On the back. Put them inside. Back. Oh boy. So on the back. Like this or on the inside? Like that, you mean? And then I stamp my personalized stamp. Okay, let me get my personalized stamp. I'm using a different one. It's a fancier one. My cat wants to go outside. Darn it. She's going to have to wait. So let me just stamp this. Okay. And I need to stamp it up. 1, 2. Okay. So that's that. Okay. So then, shoot, that's stamped like this when I'm covering up, Stampin' Up. Or, I never thought of doing this. This is actually fun. This. And this. Like that. Oh, yes, envelope too. Okay, so I don't like I really like it down here. So this goes here. I'm gonna cover up Stampin' Up, but I can always stamp that somewhere else. And the envelope, sweet. Okay, I knew we could do it, you guys. Okay, so let's add this. And we're gonna cover up Stampin' Up, but I can always stamp that another place. I didn't get this right in the middle, unfortunately, but that's okay. Okay, and then the envelope. Just really small strip. I'm gonna make sure the flap, we're gonna put this right on the left side. Oh, what a great idea. Thank you for your contributions, you guys. All right, so let's finish the sentiment. Sweet, sweet. And now this one's gonna just get put on right there. So let's add these, peel those off and throw them on the floor. And, oh, perfect. So I got that lined up right on the edge there. So you got that little purple coming through there. So you can kind of now see that strip. One thing I mentioned earlier, you can add the Wink of Stella. So let me do that really quick. If you wanted to add Wink of Stella on the flowers, I would brush stroke it. And what I mean by that is it's a glitter brush. So I'm just brush stroking it like this. Maybe fill in a little bit there. And you can kind of brush stroke this one a little bit harder because you've got the ribbon. But I can move it a little bit because it's not glued down. And then maybe throw some in right there and right there too. Okay, so I know you can't see it too much, but anyway, it's there. Trust me, you can see the glitter. I can see the glitter. So Great community card for the last one, you guys. So super cute, right? I never thought of that. What a great idea. All right, so let's do a recap, you guys. This is my longest live ever, and I'm actually still alive. All right, so here's the last card we made. And here's the one that I made earlier. Just place the sentiment in a different location. Okay. And then here's the pale papayas. Okay. And then soft succulent. These two. Ribbon on the bows on different sides on this one. And then we've got the fresh freesia. Thank you for everything. All right, and then the last one, polished pink. Isn't that cheerful? All right, so that's my live for tonight, featuring the Color and Contour stamp set, which looks like this. It's a photopolymer. You've seen me stamp with it for 90 minutes or so. And it's teamed up with only one of the dies, but I did want to show you the dies. Contour dies. Remind me of the Stitch So Sweetly. And then all the in colors. So you see them all here. Pale Papaya, Polished Pink, Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, and the Fresh Freesia. So thank you so much for sticking around with me tonight. I'm going to be now getting a drink of water and heading I'm back here to clean up my desk, and I'm going to start cutting cardstock. I'm not kidding you guys, how much cardstock I have. Let me show you. Hold on. I'm coming. This is my biggest order yet for Card Club and my Thinking of You Sympathy class. I'm so thankful for my customers that follow me and believe in me and my stamping. Look at this. Look at all this cardstock. I told my husband he's going to have to help me. But I don't know if you can see this or not. But there's Garden Green, Night of Navy, Granny Apple Green, Basic White, Rich Raspberry, Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight, Pool Party, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Soft Seafoam, Gorgeous Grape, no, Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape, and, oh, Melon Mambo's twice? Oh yeah, Melon Mambo. Let me just move these. I like them in order, you guys. There. This is what I have to cut. Like, can you see it all? It's like, wow, that is a lot of cardstock. Who wants to come and help? And tomorrow is going to be like a really super nice day. It's supposed to be like 65, and you might get a picture of me cutting cardstock outside, because if it's really nice and not windy here, which today was like really windy, and it was like 55 maybe, but it felt like 45, so not nice outside. I might just take my 6-foot table outside and cut either on my deck or on the lawn, and maybe I'll get a little color as well and not get sunburnt, because my dermatologist wouldn't like me for that. But maybe that's what I'll do. And if I do, I will snag you a picture and I'll put it on my Facebook page. And on Sunday, I will definitely be in my craft room, because it's going to be a washout, and we need actually rain here, because we're still kind of in a drought, even though we just got 6 inches of snow last weekend, but now the grass is green. So that's the way it goes here in Vermont this time of year. But I'm going to sign off. You guys be well. Keep wearing your mask. Oh, I get my vaccine on Tuesday, the day before my in-person class. So hopefully I don't get sick, or else somebody else is going to have to teach it. No, just joking. I'll be there. no matter what. So you guys take care, be well, and wear your mask. Don't give up. We're going to get through this all together, and we just keep stamping and having fun and creating and making friends along the way. Take care. Be well.